Hi, friends. It's Pastor Harley from Broadway Global Methodist Church. This day, I'm going to read from the prophet Jeremiah. In the 38th chapter, unfortunately, this is where Jeremiah had an awful lot of bad news to deliver. And in verse 21, it says, "But if you refuse to surrender, this is the vision which the Lord has shown to me. Behold, all the women left in the house of the king of Judah were being led out to the officials of the king of Babylon and were saying, 'Your trusted friends have deceived you and prevailed against you. Now that your feet are sunk in the mud, they turn away from you.'" Now Jeremiah is making the case that the King Zedekiah is that last king in Jerusalem. He has turned away from God. He has tried to manage the international relations and the threats from foreign nations in his own strength and by reliance on other gods and by reliance on bad advice and bad people. Jeremiah is making a final case saying you should not fight, you should surrender. This defeat for Jerusalem and this humbling, it is from God. Now, of course, you read the story in Jeremiah and you understand that the king does no such thing, even though he asks Jeremiah honestly, well, tell me what to do, and sometimes seems to be touched. He receives counsel but doesn't make the right decision, or sometimes receives counsel and just will make no decision, which is the same as getting no counsel from God at all. But this phrase, the people who are going to be damaged by what you're doing. This is the king's wives and children, his household, the people who are under his protection, the people who should be the first to have benefit from if the king has strength, wisdom, or godliness. They're going to be led out into captivity, and they're say, while you are stuck in the mud, those whom you turn to for help have turned against you. Part of the story in Jeremiah is are you going to turn to the world's ways, or are you going to turn to God's ways? Are you going to turn to something that looks perhaps easy and more sure, or are you going to live in faith? Are you going to do this in your own strength, or are you going to rely upon God? Are you going to turn to God with your whole heart? Or are you going to try to see how many friends you can make in the world, at the same time maybe not annoying God too much? It is loving God, loving the world, on one hand or the other, in Jeremiah clear through. You get stuck in the mud if you're loving the world too much. You get trapped if your heart is set on the things of the world and not on the things of God. Jeremiah knew this. Jeremiah preached it. The Bible tells us so. Amen.